In this video, we are going to set up our local development environment so that we can contribute to the project. I realize that a lot of you here already have extensive web development experience. So if that applies to you and you already have a setup that's working well for you, feel free to just skip this and use whatever you prefer. But yeah, if you're kind of new to this or just looking for new setup to try out, this is the one that we recommend. If you are on a Windows machine, some of these steps are going to look a little different. But if you have any issues, feel free to either DM William, Sean, or I, or schedule some office hours on Calendly. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right in. So the first thing that we would like to ask y'all to download is GitHub Desktop. Basically, this is a graphical user interface that lets you use Git and GitHub easier than issuing commands in the command line. So if you've taken 1302, you've learned how to do a lot of things with Git and GitHub from the command line, which is super useful. That's the best way to learn Git. But when you start working on a big code base, it's really nice to have a tool like this because it helps you issue pull requests. It helps you merge branches much easier and deal with merge conflicts. It'll highlight the specific lines of code that are conflicting so that you can then choose which one you would like to keep. So yeah, that's GitHub Desktop. I already have it downloaded on my machine. And the next thing is Visual Studio Code. And by the way, I'll put the download links in the shared Google Doc for both of these applications. So yeah, Visual Studio Code is a very popular integrated development environment. It's the one that we recommend. All of us have used it in the past, and I think it's safe to say it's the most popular IDE currently. So what we will do is we will connect our GitHub Desktop with Visual Studio Code and as well as with our GitHub accounts. So I'll go ahead and do that from here. So once you download and open GitHub Desktop, you should see something that looks somewhat similar to this. But if you don't, when you go wherever you can find the option to clone a repository, what you will be presented with is an option to sign in. So this is the part where we connect GitHub Desktop to our actual GitHub account. So since I've already signed in, it's going to just automatically sign me back in, I think. Yeah. So you'll have a couple more steps. It'll just ask for your username, password, and an email. But once you get signed in, you'll see all your repositories here on the right. So William will take you through the process of forking the open source GitHub repository so that you have your own local copy that you can use to create branches and as well as your pull requests from. What I will do here, just to show you the connection to Visual Studio Code, is I'm going to select a repository that I've worked on in the past. So I'll just go ahead and clone it from here. And once it does that, in preferences, you can select which IDE you would prefer. I think by default it's set to Atom on Mac OS, but you can change that here in preferences. Just select Visual Studio Code, save, and just simply click on Open in Visual Studio Code, and it'll give you the repository, everything in that repository right here. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to make a change in this repository and show you, how easily, these two applications make it to work with Git and GitHub. So I'll just make a simple change. I'll go and change the header. So I'll just put a hello world here on this H1 tag. Okay, and when I save this file, we'll see over here, we see the change. So this is exactly what I wrote right here. So the communication is very quick. And so now let's say we've made this change and we want to commit the change. So I did something that we recommend not doing, and I'm working directly off of the main branch. So it's important to make a new branch, especially when contributing to a large code base. So I'll just call this dummy branch, and I actually made another branch to that name, so I'll just call it dummy branch 2. So I'll go ahead and create this branch. So I'm not going to leave my changes on main. I want to bring my changes with me, because you never want to commit directly to main. So now that we are on dummy branch, I now want to, I want to make a commit. I want to, I made an addition to the front end. I want everybody to see what I did. So I'll just, you write your description for your commit down here at the bottom left. So what did I do? I added a header. So I'll go ahead and press commit. And the nice thing about GitHub Desktop is it basically gives you it spells out the steps for you pretty much. So now that we want to publish our branch, or push our branch to the remote repository, yeah, you can see it just did so with that click. And so I can go to the repository now and see, yeah, we can see the commit here. So that works well. And now we would want to create a pull request, and you can also do that from this tool. And William is going to take you through those steps in the next video. So yeah, basically this is how you get your Visual Studio Code. This is and GitHub Desktop working well together. And yeah, well, thank you for watching.